Thank you, Shirley. Thank you, Capri, for getting me here. Thank you for making me part of the audience to listen to this great discussion. No, thank you for getting me here to conclude this rich discussion because it's an extremely difficult job to do. The kind of talks we've had through the day. I'm also amazed at this platform you've put up with the bright young minds sitting here, the students you've got in here. It's, I think, one of the rare public forums where you get such a wide audience, which our excellent speakers can address. It's a privilege for all of us to be here to talk to them. By conclusion, I'd first start by saying, people of my generation lived in a fairy tale world. We lived in a fairy tale world because we were naive. We believed the world was without borders and that science, technology, progress were apolitical things. People exchange ideas. It was one big happy family. This was all taken for granted. Science spoke the same language no matter where it was. People collaborated. Innovation grew. And that world turned out to be a fairy tale. But that world created these supply chains where, trade flourished, smooth as silk, continents got wound together and became one. Interdependence became a fact of life. And we heard today that that world is being tested, and being tested violently, time and time again. Technology itself is now sitting at that very brutal intersection, ruled by the gatekeepers of commerce, ruled by the gatekeepers of security. It's a paranoid world which finds itself hostage. Innovation itself feels strangulated. So in a world of competition which is, kind of being driven by pure assertion, the fact is, the truth is that the world has been here before too. It's not that this is happening for the first time. But communities, and nations, and we are precisely in one such place. They rose, they prospered when they transcended this world. They collapsed when they were overtaken by it. And this beautiful island, Formosa, as you said, which means beautiful, is a prime example of what it did in the 70s, when it felt constrained, when it felt the world had given up on it. It reinvented itself. It made itself that node of interdependence, which no one could do without. And that was a victory of this place. So today the wheel may have turned again. We moved into a different kind of world. And what the world started calling the centrality of Formosa today is seen by many as an exposure, as a vulnerability. Which brings us to the question that I think we were discussing today: how do we rewire innovation? How do we get back? How do we rethink the rules of global collaboration, without which we will not be able to sustain innovation? And the answer actually begins with the truth, older than silicon, far older. It traveled with the caravanserais which spread knowledge. And the basic fact is, as we have heard, that through the history of power, knowledge has expanded when it is shared, not when it is constrained. It has been the only form of wealth that spreads most when it is given away. That is how it grows. And it also underlies the biggest paradox that is at the heart of the 21st century. Knowledge no longer merely travels. The knowledge today compounds exponentially. We're in a world of Claude, we're in a world of ChatGPT, we're in a world of AI. Every idea feeds not just human minds. It feeds interconnected systems, machines, data sets, trained capabilities that scale. Intelligence is no longer just cultivated. It is not just cultivated in human minds, it is iterated across machines, across systems. So this is a different world. So the paradox sharpens here. When you talk of innovation, we start talking of knowledge. And we talk of the world we live in today. See, the power to harness this knowledge is not evenly distributed. So there is the problem. It is restrained by the power to commute. It is restrained by who owns data, who owns capital. And control of platforms and data concentrate knowledge in unprecedented ways. So the debate actually is not between openness and control. It is about what to protect, where to draw the line, when to let go and redraw it. And it needs to happen again and again. Look at Hormuz. We were discussing the Straits of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil, 30% of the world's helium transits these straits. And it's not just oil. One drone can finish the supplies of helium and make the fabs go dark. So no matter, you like it or don't like it, we are interdependent, we are connected. We can't run away from that basic fact. So the world will continue to run on rules of interdependence, no matter what happens. But instead of that, we find ourselves in a world where interdependency itself has become a choke point. That is the problem. Whether it is, Hormuz, whether it is sanctions, whether it is use of the interbanking system, one side uses geographical choke points, the other side actually fired the first shot by using interdependency of technology. The SWIFT system, sanctions, these also became choke points. So the other side started retaliating against this. And Hormuz came into reality. So what does one do when we get into this world? So the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz is beyond regional war. That's what we really heard in the last session. How do we get out of it? We've seen a collision of rules take place here. And these are the rules of maritime, the maritime rules which have been built over the years. These rules collide with each other. New rules of the road will have to be made. Do we ultimately, we discuss something like this, have a kind of Monterey Convention of 1936, which reestablishes some kind of order in this? To conclude, I'll talk about what does not ChatGPT tell us, what does ancient wisdom tell us, much before ChatGPT. The ancients gave us various stories. They gave us the Mahabharata. They gave us the Odyssey. They gave us also the story of the Monkey King, which is very well known in these parts. What are these stories about? These stories fundamentally tell us that with great power comes great responsibility. And ultimately, with great power also comes the idea of restraint. Odysseus had to be tied to the mast, had to be consented to be tied to the mast, to understand that power lies in restraint at the right time. The Monkey King had to wear the headband. And he wore the headband, went on the travel, accompanied by the pilgrim whom he was guarding. And the pilgrim was going to get the sutras, the rules, the new rules of the road, which had to come into being. But the new rules were not important. The Monterey Convention is not important. The headband was the cardinal rule, which the Monkey King wore. And that is fundamentally which changed things. When does the pain of the headband, the pain of the choke point, become so strong that power realizes the value of restraint? Whoever is exercising that power, wherever that power is being exercised to that choke point. So what we are saying, why are the negotiations not working? Today we see that Matt told us that the small is not just beautiful, small has power. What do the small powers do? What do they do in this situation? Do they have no agency? Whereas the big need to control agency, the smaller ones need to exercise that agency. And how do they exercise it? by building, Professor Barroso told us, by building within themselves, through regional organizations, through different rules of the road, they become the headband, they become the restraining power, which ultimately they become part of that journey. They are the monks without the navies. They are the monks which teach that restraint. They are the monks which teach what happens when the pain starts hurting. So we are reaching that stage. I do not know when we will reach it. None of us know when we will reach it. But these are the only solutions which really matter. So the mast and the headband are really what matter. And I think we're going to be reaching that stage. It's been a great conference. Great ideas have been thrown up. Thank you all for getting me here. And thank you, all of you. And last of all, please, a great applause for the splendid team at CAPRI. Where are they? They're all around us. For making this possible, for getting us all here, and pulling off an amazing conference. Thank you so much.